Welcome to the Trackpad's Military Podcast, where history, leadership, and heroism come alive. Jason's new book, Uncommon Valor, Medal of Honor Stories from the Battle of Iwo Jima, is now available in Kindle, paperback, and a collectible hardcover edition. It's the first in a 10-part series exploring the incredible stories of Medal of Honor recipients from World War II. Meticulously researched and vividly told, Uncommon Valor takes readers deep into the brutal battle for Iwo Jima, honoring the Marines whose acts of heroism changed history. From the chaos of the beach landings to the iconic flag raising atop Mount Suribachi, this book captures the grit, sacrifice, and spirit of America's highest military honor. To learn more or grab your copy, visit militaryarchive.org, and please follow Jason on Amazon to be informed of future releases. U.S. Invasion of Grenada, Operation Urgent Fury. The United States invasion of Grenada in October 1983, officially known as Operation Urgent Fury, stands as one of the pivotal moments of Cold War history, reflecting America's renewed determination to confront communist expansion in its immediate geopolitical sphere. Triggered by the violent overthrow and execution of Grenadian Prime Minister Maurice Bishop and the establishment of a Marxist Revolutionary Council, the operation was swiftly executed, amid rising fears of Grenada becoming a Soviet-aligned military outpost in the Caribbean. With approximately 600 American medical students caught in the turmoil and substantial Cuban military involvement evident on the island, the United States faced both strategic and humanitarian imperatives that propelled rapid military intervention. Operation Urgent Fury became a significant demonstration of America's military might and resolve, marking the first substantial United States military action since Vietnam. The swift airborne and amphibious assaults, dramatic rescue operations under fire, and fierce urban engagements provided critical operational experience for American forces. However, the invasion also sparked intense international debate, generating diplomatic tensions even among United States allies, and left lasting implications for regional geopolitics. Understanding the Grenada invasion offers essential insights into Cold War strategy, military doctrine evolution, and the complexities involved in rapid intervention scenarios. Strategic context and prelude to the invasion. Grenada, a small Caribbean island nation, became independent from Britain in 1974, marking a new chapter in its political evolution. Initially, this independence promised increased autonomy and self-determination, fueling aspirations for economic growth and social stability. However, Grenada's political trajectory quickly shifted when the New Jewel movement, a socialist political party advocating Marxist ideologies, gained significant traction among the populace. Led by the charismatic Maurice Bishop, the New Jewel movement advocated radical social reforms, economic redistribution, and alignment with socialist nations, fundamentally reshaping Grenada's political and diplomatic orientation. Prime Minister Maurice Bishop rose to prominence through passionate rhetoric, effectively aligning Grenada with Cuba and other socialist states in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Bishop embraced socialist policies, implemented extensive social welfare programs, and sought substantial Cuban assistance in modernizing Grenada's infrastructure, notably the construction of a large airport at Point Salins. This airport project, perceived internationally as excessively large for Grenada's tourism needs, sparked suspicions in the United States that it could serve as a staging ground for Soviet or Cuban military operations. As Bishop deepened Grenada's connections with Fidel Castro's Cuba, American fears intensified regarding the island's potential transformation into a strategic military outpost for communist powers. Internal divisions soon emerged within the New Jewel movement leadership, exacerbating the political instability of Grenada. By the early 1980s, ideological splits surfaced prominently, causing severe rifts among the party's senior members. Bernard Coard, a prominent Marxist hardliner within the New Jewel movement, openly challenged Bishop's comparatively moderate stance, advocating for more rigorous Marxist principles and tighter alignment with the Soviet Union. Tensions escalated rapidly, leading to dramatic and violent confrontations within Grenada's political circles. ultimately destabilizing the New Jewel movement's leadership and thrusting the nation toward crisis. This internal power struggle reached its climax in October 1983, when Bishop was abruptly placed under house arrest by members loyal to cohort. Bishop's imprisonment ignited widespread popular protests in the capital, St. George's, illustrating his enduring support among many Grenadians. Despite widespread local and international appeals for his release, Bishop was executed on October 19, 1983, by forces loyal to the new hardline Marxist leadership. Following Bishop's execution, Cord and his supporters swiftly established a revolutionary military council, solidifying their control and plunging Grenada into further political turmoil. For the United States, the rapidly deteriorating situation in Grenada represented a direct strategic threat, heightening fears of another Cuba emerging in the Caribbean, potentially jeopardizing regional security. The substantial Cuban military presence on Grenada, including advisors and workers involved in the construction of the contentious airport, amplified American concerns regarding Soviet influence. Additionally, the presence of approximately 600 American medical students attending St. George's University intensified Washington's sense of urgency, fearing their safety amid the island's escalating unrest. Responding to these concerns, and bolstered by an explicit request from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, United States military planners swiftly moved to formulate an intervention strategy, leading to the launch of Operation Urgent Fury. Operation Urgent Fury was meticulously designed as a rapid response mission intended to deploy overwhelming military force, immediately neutralizing Grenadian and Cuban resistance. American strategic planners envisioned a robust combined arms operation involving airborne and amphibious assaults to secure critical points quickly. A primary operational objective included the swift rescue and evacuation of American citizens, particularly the vulnerable medical students scattered throughout St. George's University campus. Additionally, beyond immediate tactical goals, the United States sought to install a pro-American government capable of stabilizing Grenada and reorienting its international alignment firmly away from Marxist influences and toward the United States and its allies. Initial assault and military engagements. In the early morning hours of October 25, 1983, Operation Urgent Fury commenced with a swift and coordinated assault to secure Grenada and neutralize military opposition. United States Army Rangers spearheaded the airborne attack, descending rapidly onto Point Selene's airport, strategically crucial due to its large runway, capable of supporting significant military airlift operations. Simultaneously, United States Marines initiated an amphibious landing at Pearls Airport in the northern region of the island, aiming to open another critical entry point for reinforcements. Both operations encountered stiff resistance almost immediately, highlighting the determined opposition by Cuban military engineers who fiercely defended their positions, supported by Grenadian forces loyal to the Revolutionary Military Council. The resistance at Point Selene's airport proved especially challenging, as Cuban military personnel had fortified defensive positions, fully prepared to contest the runway's control. United States forces, despite the element of surprise, quickly found themselves engaged in heavy firefights, forcing the Rangers into intense close-quarter battles. Marines at Pearls Airport similarly faced formidable opposition, requiring decisive action to dislodge entrenched enemy positions. After several hours of sustained combat, United States troops successfully overcame the opposition at both locations, securing essential airfields for subsequent troop deployments and logistical operations. An immediate priority for United States commanders following these initial assaults was the rescue of American medical students scattered throughout the true blue campus of St. George's University. However, locating all student groups proved initially challenging due to communication difficulties in the chaotic environment resulting from combat operations. United States troops, maneuvering cautiously through urban areas and university buildings, faced sporadic enemy fire while systematically conducting rescue operations. The urgency intensified as combat engagements near the campus area escalated, prompting commanders to expedite extraction efforts amidst active threats. Helicopter units played a pivotal role in the evacuation efforts, executing daring missions to retrieve stranded students under persistent enemy fire. Pilots maneuvered skillfully to avoid ground-based anti-aircraft fire and small arms engagements, extracting civilians from precarious situations while troops maintained security perimeters on the ground. Despite initial complications, the rescue operations eventually succeeded in safely evacuating and protecting hundreds of medical students and other American citizens, highlighting the effectiveness of coordinated aerial and ground strategies under intense pressure. As United States forces expanded their operational footprint, fierce fighting erupted around critical defensive positions at Fort Frederick and Richmond Hill, where Cuban and Grenadian troops had established formidable defensive perimeters. Defenders utilized heavy weaponry, entrenched positions, and fortified bunkers, causing substantial difficulties for advancing United States Special Forces tasked with neutralizing these strongholds. In response, American commanders ordered targeted airstrikes and precise naval bombardments to weaken enemy fortifications, significantly aiding ground operations aimed at capturing these strategic locations. After intense combat, American troops successfully overran these key positions, disarming defenders and capturing essential military sites that significantly weakened enemy capabilities on the island. Despite their initial preparedness and tenacity, Cuban and Grenadian resistance gradually evolved into more improvised and defensive measures as Operation Urgent Fury progressed. Enemy forces resorted to ambushes, sniper attacks, and guerrilla-style tactics, effectively delaying United States troop advances and complicating the security environment. These sporadic counterattacks, while disruptive, lacked coordination and ultimately proved insufficient to halt American military momentum. Consequently, resistance steadily deteriorated as United States forces secured critical infrastructure, rapidly establishing control over most of Grenada, thus diminishing the effectiveness of enemy efforts to resist the invasion. Securing the island and end of combat operations. Following the initial assault and intense urban engagements, United States military commanders swiftly transitioned into comprehensive mop-up operations across Grenada's rural and isolated regions. These actions aimed to root out pockets of remaining resistance, preventing the regrouping of Cuban or Grenadian forces capable of mounting sustained insurgent operations. American troops systematically scoured the countryside, conducting village-to-village sweeps to locate and disarm scattered Grenadian soldiers still loyal to the revolutionary government. These disarmament efforts were crucial in neutralizing potential insurgent threats and restoring civilian confidence in safety and governance. A central aspect of securing the island involved seizing substantial stockpiles of arms, ammunition, and military equipment supplied primarily by Cuba. The United States forces uncovered significant caches hidden throughout Grenada, notably within remote storage facilities, warehouses, and concealed bunkers. The vast quantities of captured weaponry underscored the scale of Cuba's military assistance and Grenada's preparedness for prolonged conflict. By rapidly securing these arsenals, United States commanders effectively eliminated the immediate risk posed by readily accessible arms, falling into insurgent hands or criminal elements, stabilizing security across the island. The capture and detention of Bernard Couade and his inner circle marked a decisive turning point in dismantling Grenada's revolutionary leadership. Couade and other prominent revolutionary figures were quickly apprehended by United States forces, effectively dissolving the military council that had governed following Maurice Bishop's execution. This removal of revolutionary leadership paved the way for the restoration of civilian governance under a pro-Western administration, guided initially by a coalition of local political figures sympathetic to the United States. The international community provided oversight, ensuring transparency and legitimacy during this sensitive transition of power. Despite achieving overall strategic objectives, Operation Urgent Fury exposed significant operational challenges and resulted in casualties directly linked to operational shortcomings. Miscommunication among various military units contributed to friendly fire incidents, highlighting critical issues within joint operational planning and coordination. Additionally, inadequate intelligence gathering prior to the invasion severely hampered mission planning, with troops encountering stronger than anticipated Cuban resistance and well-prepared defensive positions. These challenges revealed vulnerabilities in American reliance on air power in urban and semi-urban environments, prompting senior military leaders to revisit doctrines regarding combined armed urban warfare operations and emphasizing lessons for future rapid interventions. As combat operations wound down, United States forces coordinated the orderly evacuation and repatriation of captured Cuban personnel to Havana. The swift deportation process was managed carefully to mitigate further diplomatic tensions, though inevitably the invasion triggered significant diplomatic fallout between the United States and Cuba. Subsequent United States investigations into Cuba's extensive involvement in Grenada's military buildup generated further political ramifications, spotlighting Cuba's regional ambitions and prompting heightened vigilance among neighboring Caribbean nations. Ultimately, these developments reshaped regional geopolitical dynamics, influencing Caribbean nations' diplomatic alignments and the United States' broader strategic approach to the Western Hemisphere. International and political reactions. The United States' intervention in Grenada generated a largely positive domestic response, with widespread public approval marking it as a clear success for President Ronald Reagan's administration. The quick and decisive nature of the military victory resonated deeply with an American public still grappling with memories of Vietnam and the recent Iran hostage crisis. For Reagan, the successful invasion strengthened his foreign policy credibility, showcasing decisive action against communist expansion close to American shores. This operation effectively bolstered national morale, reinforcing public and political commitment to combating communist influences in the Western Hemisphere. Despite strong domestic support, the invasion was met with significant criticism internationally, especially from the United Nations. The United Nations General Assembly swiftly condemned the intervention as an illegal act of aggression, arguing that the United States had violated Grenadian sovereignty without clear international sanction. Additionally, allies such as the United Kingdom expressed notable dissatisfaction over being excluded from pre-invasion planning discussions, despite their historical ties to Grenada as a former colony and Commonwealth member. This lack of consultation strained diplomatic relations and illustrated the complexities involved in coordinating international military actions, even among close allies. Reactions within the Caribbean region varied significantly, underscoring the divisive impact of the United States invasion on regional unity. Several Caribbean nations strongly supported the United States action, particularly those within the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, which had explicitly requested American intervention. Conversely, other nations, particularly those aligned with the non-aligned movement, viewed the invasion critically as unwarranted foreign interference. These differing perspectives exposed underlying regional tensions, highlighting the delicate balance required in maintaining diplomatic relationships within the diverse Caribbean political landscape. The experience gained from Operation Urgent Fury profoundly impacted United States military strategic thinking, particularly in identifying critical shortcomings in joint force coordination. Military planners recognized the necessity for improved inter-service communication and coordination to avoid operational errors, such as friendly fire incidents and intelligence failures. These operational insights led directly to enhanced training programs and doctrine revisions aimed at streamlining command and control structures in future operations. Grenada thus became a pivotal case study for military strategists, shaping preparations and tactical methodologies for subsequent rapid deployments, notably the interventions in Panama in 1989 and later operations in the Middle East. Cuba's reaction to the Grenada intervention was marked by a combination of defiance and pragmatism. Fidel Castro publicly acknowledged the shortcomings of Cuba's direct military involvement in Grenada, admitting to tactical errors and strategic miscalculations that facilitated the island's swift fall. This experience prompted a notable shift in Cuban foreign policy, steering away from direct military interventions toward more subtle and intelligence-sphere international engagements. Although Grenada represented a setback, Cuba sought to reinforce its alliances within the socialist bloc, redoubling diplomatic and intelligence efforts abroad to sustain its strategic influence despite this significant military and political defeat. Legacy and historical significance. The United States invasion of Grenada marked a crucial shift in American Cold War policy, representing the first significant military intervention by the United States since the withdrawal from Vietnam nearly a decade earlier. This operation reaffirmed the Reagan doctrine, emphasizing aggressive resistance to communist influence and proactive containment strategies, particularly within regions deemed strategically sensitive like the Caribbean. By demonstrating an unequivocal willingness to act unilaterally, the United States sent a powerful message globally, signaling a renewed resolve in confronting perceived threats to its national security interests. Furthermore, the intervention fostered stronger diplomatic and security relationships between the United States and its Caribbean allies, significantly influencing regional alliances and cooperation for decades thereafter. Politically, Grenada underwent substantial transformations in the aftermath of the intervention, transitioning from revolutionary Marxist governance to a stable, democratic political system strongly aligned with Western interests. The establishment of civilian leadership under United States oversight laid the groundwork for sustained political stability and economic growth, encouraging increased foreign investment and tourism. The drastic reduction of Cuban and Soviet influence in Grenada had broader regional implications, reshaping Caribbean geopolitics by curbing communist expansion and promoting democratic governance models. Despite these positive outcomes, ongoing debates continue regarding the legitimacy and ethical justifications of the invasion, highlighting enduring complexities surrounding international law, sovereignty, and humanitarian intervention. Operationally, Grenada provided numerous lessons that significantly influenced subsequent United States military operations, emphasizing the critical need for comprehensive intelligence gathering and rigorous pre-invasion analysis. The shortcomings experienced in Grenada highlighted serious gaps in joint force coordination, necessitating substantial improvements in inter-service communication protocols and combined operations planning. Furthermore, American forces recognized specific challenges associated with urban warfare, which informed training adjustments and tactical doctrine modifications for future engagements. Special operations units, observing the Grenada experience, adapted their strategies toward counterinsurgency missions, emphasizing precision, rapid response, and specialized engagements in smaller-scale conflicts. The cultural and historical remembrance of Operation Urgent Fury continues prominently within American public memory, reflected through various memorials honoring the United States soldiers who sacrificed their lives during the brief but intense fighting. Memorial ceremonies and commemorative sites ensure ongoing acknowledgement of these service members, maintaining public awareness of their contributions and sacrifices. Additionally, Grenada remains a focal point for broader historical debates regarding President Reagan's foreign policy decisions, regularly analyzed in both academic and popular literature. This reflective discourse examines the intervention's long-term implications, scrutinizing its ethical dimensions, strategic validity, and broader impact on international relations. Operation Urgent Fury's enduring influence extends beyond historical recollection into contemporary military doctrine, serving as an essential reference for planning and executing rapid, limited-scope interventions. Military strategists and historians routinely evaluate the Grenada operation through books, documentaries, and academic analyses, preserving its relevance within discussions about military effectiveness and international diplomacy. Grenada's legacy thus significantly shapes modern perspectives on how to balance decisive action with political prudence, informing ongoing discourse on the appropriate use of military force in complex international crises. Conclusion. Operation Urgent Fury fundamentally reshaped Grenada's political trajectory, effectively curbing Cuban and Soviet influence and reorienting the nation toward a stable, pro-Western governance model. For the United States, the invasion reaffirmed the Reagan administration's aggressive stance against communist expansion, bolstering American strategic credibility during the volatile Cold War period. Nevertheless, the operation exposed critical gaps in military preparedness, joint force coordination, and intelligence capabilities, prompting significant revisions in United States military doctrines and strategies for future conflicts. The Grenada intervention continues to resonate today, reflected in ongoing discussions about military ethics, the legitimacy of humanitarian interventions, and the proper use of force in international affairs. Memorials and cultural commemorations ensure that the sacrifices made during Operation Urgent Fury remain visible reminders of the conflict's human cost. Ultimately, the invasion of Grenada remains a crucial historical case study, teaching enduring lessons about military strategy, diplomatic relations, and geopolitical consequences that continue to inform United States and global strategic thinking. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Trek Paths Military Podcast. If you'd like to dive deeper into more stories of courage, leadership, and battlefield history, visit trekpads.com for articles, podcast archives, and exclusive content. You can also explore the library of military history books and ongoing series by visiting Dr. Edwards' author page at militaryauthor.me. Whether you prefer to read, watch, or listen, there's always more to discover. Until next time, keep exploring, stay inspired, and remember, the lessons of the past shape the warriors of the future.